Thank you for watching Lira Scoop. We are glad you are here.
I'm known by the names of Moses Opito. I am a Lao person from the village of Okarubilo in Akaha Parish in Abair Sub-County, Oyam South Constituency, of course Oyam District. I have two professions. I am a lawyer, an advocate of the courts of judicature of Uganda, and I'm also a registered valuation surveyor of Uganda. I am a young man. I am a Ugandan. I am a political animal. I belong to the new breed of leaders who are offering themselves for leadership, especially in Lao. This comes at a time when Uganda, and Lao in specific, is undergoing transition. You may realize that the old stock of leaders are fast winding and going back home, and there is need to regenerate and come up with a new stock that will take us strategically forward. I offer myself to be elected on the NRM ticket as Member of Parliament for Yam South. Someone may be asking and inquiring, what credentials do you have in leadership? Well, apart from my private practice in law and in survey, I am the General Secretary of the Institution of Surveyors of Uganda, which is the professional body which brings together all the different surveyors disciplines, the valuation surveyors, the land surveyors, the quantity surveyors, the mining and hydrological surveyors. In my days as a student, I was also a student leader. When people woke up to go to university, I woke up and went to University of Dar es Salaam. The same as that of our president, the president and chairman of our party, president of Uganda and chairman of the ruling NRM party. This is University of Dar es Salaam. While I was there, I was elected the president of Uganda Students Association in Tanzania, something akin to the guild president of all students, Ugandan students who are studying in the different universities in Tanzania. There were different universities. There was University of Dar, Tumaini University, there was Muhimbili, there were several. So I had the chance of being nurtured at that time as a student leader. Well, while I'm in Uganda, I've been practicing, but you know, there's a time for everything. The book of Ecclesiastes is very clear. It is time now to step into active leadership. We've been providing leadership in other spaces, as I've mentioned above. My agenda is very clear. It is time, once again, as it were in 1962, for Lao to play its strategic role in the development of Uganda, and specifically for Lao. You may recall or remember that in 1962, we were favored as Lao to have President Apollo Milton Obote leading Uganda into independence. Make no mistake, I don't think it was just a mere something which came from the blue. I think it was favor, and the young men and women from Lao, and indeed Uganda at large at that time, took up this challenge and delivered self-rule to Uganda. This time round, we are trying to come up with that kind of leadership. It's not just a leadership of going to parliament and maybe earning premiumly, but it's a leadership of using the premium flow of parliament to put across the development agenda and the needs of Lao. First of all, everything rises and falls on leadership. When we mobilize, when we go to parliament, when we have these positions, we shall be able to put across things such as, one, the strategic physical infrastructure development needed in Lao. When Karuma Falls was closed, we all suffered passing via Masindi Port. Indeed, we believe that Masindi Port should have a bridge. Secondly, Atura Port in Abayer sub-county once upon a time flourished. Goods that are coming from Eastern Uganda, from Malaba, from Busia, can come via Jinja up to Atura Port. And this would reduce on the burden on our roads. So this alternative strategic infrastructure is very important. Secondly, while we are very thankful to President Yoweri Museveni for reconstructing the Lira Kamdini Road, we are also aware that household incomes are still low, especially in Lao. Recently on the floor of Parliament, I listened to one of the MPs making a case, and it was very clear that Karamoja, Lao and West Nile are suffering from acute poverty. There is need to revitalize the concept of Dero. While we were growing up, every family in Lao had Dero. In Dero, there was food. From the Dero, you could sell food. We are a society that takes care of cattle, goats, and we also engage in agriculture. We should strategically know that in 1962 there was a research which found out that fruit trees or a certain type of trees would flourish more in Lao, such as cashew nuts, such as fruits, mangoes, oranges, cocoa. Cocoa is a fruit, by the way. Then we have the strategic moyao. What is it that we produce as Lao that we bring to the table of Uganda? The other day, our brothers and sisters from central Uganda, the Baganda, were talking about coffee. And coffee is a big earner of income, forex, in this country. What are we producing as Lao for Uganda and we're exporting? Don't you think it's about time we sat together and address this issue? That is why President Yoweri Museveni has started from the household income level, using the PDM to cause socio-economic transformation. If all of us here can afford to have certain disposable income, we should be able to take care of our health, we should be able to take care of the education of our children. We agree that we have UPE, we have USE, and we have scholarships for at the university for our students. But we cannot partake. If you're a parent, you cannot afford the basics of nutrition, of textbooks for your child. Even UPE will not help you that much. That's why we have the school dropout level at what? Only P5. Another thing which I'm sure many of my other colleagues are going to address is the issue of education. I am aware that there is what we call a minimum development agenda that our other brothers have in West Nile, in Acholi, in other areas, in even Karamoja. Do we have that in Lao? Don't you think it's time for us to have leadership that can negotiate a minimum number of scholarships at the tertiary level for Lao? We no longer hear of the good leaders who once had PhDs, who would speak on the floor of Parliament and a pin would drop. The likes of the late Honorable Dr. Kuripak are our pioneers. It is my belief that this time round, this is the quality and the clear-headed type of leadership that we are providing for Yam South, for Lao, for Uganda, and as a former student of University of Dar es Salaam, for East Africa. I would like to conclude by saying that we have friends who we have talked to. For example, the Institution of Surveyors, where I serve as General Secretary. We are having the Global Surveyors Day celebrated next year in Gulu in March. We want to front the development agenda of Northern Uganda generally, Acholi, Lao, and West Nile. We are in the process, advanced stages of mobilizing resources such as fruit trees, timber trees that we are going to supply to different households. Even if it's a tree, or 2 or 3, it is something. That is the starting point. Right now in Oyam South, we have carried out a census and we've found that there are 150 spoiled boreholes that have to be repaired. We are in the advanced stages of beginning to repair a few. We have already done some in Miene. We are going to continue from there. It is one step at a time. Strategically, we believe, as a valuer, I believe that land is the primary factor of production. And if our land is not unlocked in terms of value, we have issues. We have an agenda to have the lands of all the religious institutions, Catholics, Anglicans, Pentecostal, the Muslim, surveyed, so that we can get land titles for them. This is an agenda that we are pushing, because we believe that if your land has a title, you can get, you have access to finance from the banks, the value increases, there is security of tenure, land disputes are reduced. I think if given the chance, under the NRM ticket, and then I lead Oyam South as an MP, and I use the premium platform of being a member of parliament to champion the strategic interests of Lao, as well as that of Uganda at large and East Africa, we all stand to gain. Together we stand, united we stand, divided we fall. This is the time for a development-based politics. Let us shun politics of propaganda. Let us shun politics of discrimination. Let us come together, and I'm especially calling upon the young men and women of Lao to play this lead. Our fathers and mothers have taken us to school. They produced us and nurtured us. It is time for us now to take the lead and lead them to a prosperous new Uganda and East Africa. I thank you. Oyam South, or Oyam General as we speak, is suffering from a leadership crisis. Everything rises and falls on leadership. There is a leadership problem in Oyam. The Constituency Development Fund, which was supposed to cause development in Oyam South, is not available. There is no leadership. I don't even think the constituency of Oyam South has been mentioned on the floor of parliament for the past 5 years. But we forgive that leader. We forgive our people. It is time to heal and vote in the right leadership that can change this. Once we get the leadership right, then the poverty levels are going to go down, and we shall have development and unity in Oyam South. Thank you. The issue of Oyam having members of parliament who are UPC is a very interesting and contradictory one. Whereas the member of parliament of Oyam South is UPC, the minister of gender, labor and social development is in the NRM government, is also the member of parliament of Oyam South. So the issue of parties, the issue of UPC or NRM should not matter, does not matter. It is of almost no consequence. What matters is for us to unite and front the Lao agenda of development, the agenda of developing Uganda. In fact, as we speak right now, as a former student of University of Dar es Salaam, I am a champion of East African community. So let's look at a development, let's look at caring for our people, let's look at leading our people to solve our day-to-day problems and the strategic problems that Lao faces. That is more important to me. Socio-economic transformation is what we are looking at. Today, there is PDM, there is Emioga. And if we come together and push a minimum development agenda, we can even negotiate more as Lao. As I've told you, everything rises and falls on leadership. Thank you.
Wow. Okay. Oyam, one of the districts with the biggest population in Lao sub-region, and there has been debates on having a separate district from Oyam. What do you make of this?
Aber district is long overdue. Aber district should have been 15 years ago. The reason why Aber district is not there is because we lacked the leadership to deliver Aber district. Lo and behold, this is the time. Vote us in. Among one of the strategic agenda points that we're going to champion is Aber district. Why? Because it brings effective service delivery to our people. But the issue of saying that we shall not do this unless you do this is not a very good bargaining strategy. The bargaining strategy would be voting the right leaders to go and negotiate the right development agenda. And indeed, Abeya district is one of them.
Thank you for watching Lyra Scoop. We are glad you are here.